A fairy tale, that is what our team calls Paraguay, a country located in the heart of South America. Briefly about the main things. Capital, Asunción. The neighbors are Bolivia, Brazil, Argentina. Population, about 7 million people. Territory, over 400,000 square kilometers. Paraguay has two official languages, Spanish and Guarani, an indigenous language. About the weather. For a Russian tourist in this region, the temperatures are abnormal for us. The locals joke, now the thermometer is plus 40, and after a short pause they add, plus 40 in the shade. Really, really hot, even in winter. Although, when it's 10 degrees for a couple of days, for the local people it's a real frost. In order to somehow escape from the heat, the locals are used to drinking a special tea, tarare. Preparing the drink is simple. Pour ground mate leaves with ice water. And everyone, I emphasize, absolutely everyone, carry a thermos with cold water and a special mug, guampa, and they drink this tea throughout the day to keep cool. Historically, Indians lived in the territory of Paraguay, and now there are small settlements of indigenous people. We managed to visit one of them, the Macá Indians. Modern clothes, modern housing, women weave burbles and bags and sell them to tourists in the city. Men usually have conversations and drink tereré tea. The chief graciously allowed us to enter the tribal territory, of course for a small fee. The tribe must develop. I would like the youth of Macá to speak Spanish, necessarily in Guarani and English. My dream is that young people from my tribe go to universities in Asunción. In the very center of the settlement, next to the leader's house, we saw a bust. Attention! Bust of the Russian officer Ivan Belyaev. In this tribe, he is referred as their white leader. On the day of his death, they organize a big celebration here.
El día de su fallecimiento. Да, в день его смерти они здесь тоже организуют большой праздник.
Hola, Russia!
And here is the most intriguing thing. From here begins to unwind the thread of most interesting events that have become the part of the history and modernity of this distant country. Paraguay is much closer to Russia. Being a Russian tourist creates a strange feeling. Walking around Asunción, you can often come across streets that bear Slavic names. Malutin Street, Kanonnikova Street, Avenida Russia, and when meeting local residents, you often hear, "Hello, I'm Senior Ivan." Not Juan, but Ivan. And you involuntarily begin to think about the history of this distant country, and the desire to reveal its secrets in the archives becomes intolerable. During the revolution that took place in Russia in 1917, the White Guard officer Ivan Timofeyevich Belyaev, in an attempt to save his life, crossed the Atlantic Ocean and found his refuge in Paraguay. After a while, he moved his family and friends here. At the time, Paraguay gave migrants good conditions, for example, free land. Subsequently, Belayev studied the life, culture and languages of local Indians, became their real educator and fighter for their rights. In the early 30s of the 20th century, a war took place between Paraguay and Bolivia, which was named the Chaco War. In the very first days of the military conflict, Russian officers offered their help. The government of Paraguay, while retaining their titles, entrusted foreigners to defend their homeland. As a result, after bloody battles, the Paraguay emerged victorious from the war. For this very reason, the streets of the city are named after Russian officers and engineers, people who did not regret giving their strength and even their lives to the country that sheltered them. My great-grandfather came to Paraguay in 1925, and only 7 years later the war began. One evening they gathered, as usual, at the house of my great-grandfather, he and 29 Russian officers, and they made a decision to voluntarily offer the government of Paraguay to defend their second homeland.
Mi mamá era rusa y mis abuelos y mi papá italiano.
My mother was Russian and my father was Italian. My mother's grandfather came to Paraguay. Grandfather was a military doctor. He was educated in St. Petersburg. After the revolution, he went to work in Africa. But after the global crisis, Dad left for Paraguay, because here the Chaco War began. And he was a military medic, and he knew that there he would get a job. I was in Paraguay for the first time many years ago, in the last years of the Soviet Union. Then, there were still no diplomatic relations between our countries. Modern Paraguay has a lot to see and a Paraguayan to be proud of. Therefore, our tourists should definitely visit this fabulous country. In 2016, for the first time in history, the primate of the Russian Orthodox Church visited Paraguay. Patriarch Kirill of Moscow and all of Russia met with President Horacio Manuel Cartes Jara, celebrated Divine Liturgy in the Intercession Church, and visited the Russian section of the Recoleta Cemetery, where he performed a funeral service and honored the memory of the Russian heroes of Paraguay. I think that now there is no longer the question of why the visit of Patriarch of Moscow to South America began from Paraguay. There is no other country in this part of the world where the names of Russian heroes were engraved from bronze in the Hall of Honor. In this part of the world, there is not a single country in which the head of the state would recall Russian names with such warmth, with such respect, and even pride.
Вспоминал бы русские имена глава государства.
And now there is a cultural exchange between countries. Recently, with the assistance of Ministry of Sports of Paraguay and Russia, a trip of young athletes from Asunción to St. Petersburg was organized. The children have come a long way. They were greeted by a real Russian winter. For the first time in their lives, they saw snow, got acquainted with Russian cuisine and made new friends. I really like it here. I communicate with the guys, learn a lot of new things, learn Russian. Hello Paraguay from St. Petersburg. I really like the water park, the tournament itself and the Russian cuisine. The dinners here are delicious. In 2018, Mario Abdo Benitez was elected president of the country. In the same year, during the World Cup, for the first time in history, the president of Paraguay made an official visit to Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Paraguayan President Mario Abdo Benitez met and shook hands. Mario Abdo Benitez presented Vladimir Putin with a gift, a statue made of bullets used in the Battle of Czech War, and rewards that belonged to Russian officers. It was a historic moment.
Para mí es una gran satisfacción el hecho histórico que se ha producido en estos días.
I am very pleased with the content of these days. For the first time in history, the President of Paraguay extends his hand to the President of Russia. Such geographically remote countries have such close points of contact, especially in the tragic moments in the history of my homeland, my republic, when the Russian military became the main heroes in defending our sovereignty. And today, being here, revealing the character of the Russian people, I hope that the history of Paraguay and Russia will be strengthened through cooperation, friendship, and strategic alliance. I am very glad that a new stage in the development of the Russian-Paraguayan relations is beginning.
Se inicia una etapa mucho más auspiciosa en términos de la relación Paraguay-Rusia.
At the invitation of the President of the Republic of Paraguay, our media company became a guest of the inauguration ceremony. The inauguration ceremony was an exciting moment not only for Mario Abdo Benitez himself, but for the whole country.
Ciudadano Mario Abdo Benítez, jura usted desempeñar con fidelidad y patriotismo el cargo de Presidente de la República del Paraguay, observar y hacer observar la Constitución y las leyes de la República? Sí, juro.
Investido con los atributos del mando presidencial, el excelentísimo señor Presidente de la República del Paraguay, Mario Abdo Benítez.
We were able to feel the full depth of the historical memory and the respect of the Paraguayans for our compatriots, who so selflessly gave their knowledge and experience for the benefit of their new homeland. For a Russian tourist, Paraguay remains a mystery, but upon closer acquaintance with the country and people, there is no doubt. And you completely agree with the local saying, in Paraguay, you cry only twice, when you come to the country and when it's time to leave.
A través de mayor cooperación, lazos de amistad,